Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today, man? Hey, I'm just a little late. Today's one of those days where the enemy tried to fight me from getting this message out, but I'll still find a way to get it out. So first time listeners, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with this inspirational morning walk. I usually get some exercise in the mornings and just share my thoughts with you guys, whatever I'm inspired to talk about that day. And today, man, I prepare everything I want to talk about, just going to print it out. My printers just wouldn't print. I have two printers and they just wouldn't print. So the enemy just trying to stop me from getting this word out. But you know what? I just go old school. I usually just like print them out on a sheet of paper so it can be easier for me when I'm walking and talking and all the good stuff. But I go old school today and just grab the Bible. The enemy can stop this show. I'm going to speak on what I want to speak on today and showing them who run things, right? Who run things, right, guys? So, yes, this is Gregory Wiles in Houston, Texas. I hope you have beautiful weather wherever you are. Our weather here is great. I'm going to get some much needed walking in. We got beautiful weather just in the early 60s here today. So, yes, our weather's getting better and better. Good morning, Tessa. Good morning. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? I hope you're having a great day. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning. How are you guys doing over there? All is well and good in the Big Apple. Yes, guys. So if you miss anything, you like what you hear, just go on YouTube. I'm going to try and forward the link throughout the day. Go on YouTube and you can see a lot more stuff there, over 100 and maybe coming on close to about 40 of these little talks that I did. But what I want to talk about today, are you a Mary or a Martha? Are you a Mary or a Martha? I'm going to explain what that means. Are you one of those people who just be doing, good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Cindy. Are you one of those people who just be doing a lot of things? You're busy all day, and then at the end of the day, you have nothing to show for it. You're busy all day running around doing a lot of stuff, and then at the end of the day, you really have nothing to show for it, right? Are you one of those people? That's what I mean. Are you a Mary or a Martha? Good morning, Mr. Prince. Good morning, Charlotte Prince. How are you doing? Right? So are you one of those people, right? So let's look and see what Jesus had to say about this, right? Let's look and see what Jesus had to say about this, right? So, a little handicap here today because I have to look in directly in the Bible. As I said, my all the stuff that I prepared didn't print, but I'm going to find a way and go old school and get it done, right? So let's see what Jesus had to say about running around all day, doing stuff, and at the end of the day, it still look like you ain't get nothing accomplished. We can read from Luke 10:38 through 42. Luke 10:38 through 42, right? So the saying, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him, that's Jesus, and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me. And that is how Jesus replied to her. He said, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her, right? So let me set the stage here. Jesus stopped by your house, right? How often Jesus gonna be coming by your house? Jesus come back by your house. But you so busy doing a lot of things, preparing this, trying to cook, clean, just bouncing around, before you want to spend some time with him, right? So Mary, her sister, is like, you know what? If it's this day and age, Mary probably was already gone live, showing people, hey, Jesus in my house, taking a lot of selfies, posting on her profile, look who I was hanging out with, Jesus. And there's Martha, have nothing to show. Jesus come in your house all those pressing questions you have, all of those stuff you need to know. You can get a chance to ask him because you're busy running around doing stuff that is not important, right? How much of us fall in the trap? We run around all day doing stuff that is not that important for our daily existence, right? And you're exhausted at the end of the day, and then it look like you have nothing to show for it, right? So that's what Jesus is saying. You're worried and upset about many things, but many days, just one or two things is needed. One or two things that is really important for you to get done. But you're getting worried and upset about many things that are going to have really no impact in your life. That's what he's trying to teach Martha. Look, I'm here in your house. You could ask me all the questions you want. You could draw from my wisdom. But you ain't get none of that done because you were busy doing stuff. You think you could impress Jesus with your cooking, man? You think you could impress Jesus with your cooking? He feed 4,000 or 5,000 from nothing, man. You ain't gonna impress him with your good food you cook and how clean you have the place and straighten it up and all of that kind of stuff, and you're busy running around before you're gonna spend a little time with the guy, right? So that's what he's saying, right? So let's look and see how this theory apply in another passage here. Let's look at this same theory and see how it apply, right? So let's read from Matthew here, 6:31 through 34. Let's look at Matthew 6:31 through 34. A piece of scripture we're most of us familiar with, right? It says, so do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all of these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. You see what he's saying? You worried about, he said, don't worry about what you will, so do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? There's one thing. What shall we drink? There's the next thing. What shall we wear? There's another thing. See, for the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But hear what he said. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So he's saying, you consistently worrying about a lot of things. But in this scenario, just like he telling Martha, one thing is what is necessary. You worrying about eat, wear, drink, all the troubles of life. But he's saying you just need to focus on one thing. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. If you focus on the one thing, then all the other things can be added to you, right? So we worry focusing on all the little things. And he's saying just focus on the one thing. You seek me first, the kingdom and his righteousness, and all of what you're worrying about is going to fall into place, right? It's like you got a tree in some part of your property. You got this big tree, some part of your property, right? And you got to get rid of this tree. You got to get rid of this tree for whatever reason. The tree's not in the proper place no more, and you got to get rid of it. So it's a big tree, right? You call over your friends, you get a chainsaw, you get a machete, you get all these things, you're cutting down all these branches, you get this chain, and you go up at the top, and all of this whole day, 2 days, you guys spending cutting this tree down, you cut it down to the lowest point, and boop, what happened? A couple of days, the tree spring right back up. This tree spring right back up again, and the problem's still in your face, right? So, but if you take this theory that Jesus tried to teach Martha here, and we try to stay in Matthew, focus on one thing that can take care of all of that. What's that? If you find a way to attack the tree and kill the roots, right? If you kill the roots, focus on that solution. You kill the root, you take care of the whole tree. You don't got to worry about cutting every branch and worrying all that and call over all these friends. You focus on the root, how I can get rid of the root. How could I poison the root and kill it? Kill the whole tree and just watch it die, right? So that's what he's saying here in Matthew, and that's what he's trying to teach Martha. All of the stuff that we focusing on, a lot of the time is not necessary. They got one or two things that is necessary that you can get most of your returns from. And he's saying focus on those things. Don't be worried about 1,000 things. Run around all day. I see some people do that. They run all day. They run tired out the self, and yet still like they get nothing accomplished. They got nothing to show where they what they did for the day, right? So if that's not from a biblical perspective, then do it for you. Let's look at the other perspective that might convince you and how you can apply this theory to your life. This might make a little bit more sense to you, right? Is the Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle, right? The Pareto Principle. I think it said, I had all of this written out, but I just had to make some scribbles here. Like I said, my printer wasn't printing. But I think the saying is 80% of, okay, and this is the 80-20 rule. It's the 80-20 rule. I don't want to talk about the 80-20 rule. Most people mind who like movies like myself can run to that Tyler Perry movie, right? But the 80-20 rule, they apply to relationships. So we can apply it to other parts of your life, right? This guy Pareto, he said in Italy, he noticed is that 80% of the land in the country was owned by 20% of the people, right? 80% was owned by 20% of the people. So he tried to see this theory hold true in different aspects of life, right? So in the workplace, the salespeople said this theory hold true. He said 20% of all the businesses is being produced. 80% of the businesses is being produced by 20% of the sales force. So 20% of the sales force is responsible for 80% of the businesses, 80% of the business the company gets, right? They said 20% of the population, of the world's population, controls 80% of the world's income, right? 20% of the world's population controls about 80% of the world's income. And let's look at your simple closet. Let's see if this theory holds true in your own closet. You wear about 20% of the clothes in your closet about 80% of the times. Let that sink in a little bit. But 20% of the clothes that you have in your closet, you wear 80% of the time. Is that hold true? Good morning, Renita. Good morning. Right? So let us sink in a little bit. 20% of the clothes in your closet you wear about 80% of the time, right? And the same in a business, 20% of the customers account for about 80% of the complaints. 20% of the customers account for 80% of the complaints. So where I'm going with this, right? Spend your time, organize your day. Let's use the same principle. Organize your day. Make a list of your day of the most important things you need to get. Let's say list 10 things on your list. I need to get this done, that, done, and done. And then out of that list, focus on the 1 or 2 things that are going to give you the biggest returns for that day. Focus on the 1 or 2 most important things that you have to get done for that day. So even if you didn't get that other 8 things on your list completed, at least you get in about 80% efficiency for that day. That's how this theory applies to your everyday life, right? List your 10 things that you need to get done today. We start in this early morning. You got time to do this today. List the 10 most important things to you that you want to get today. Focus on the 1 or 2. Prioritize them now. Okay, I got to get this done. Let me focus and make sure I get these done first before I attack the other 8. So even if time run out on me during the day, these 2 things is the most impactful thing for today. These other things, tomorrow, the number 4 or 5 things on the list with today probably might bump up to number 1 tomorrow. But today, what do I really need to focus on first today? Don't just start attacking the list and say I got 10 things or check 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things off. Because you might check 6 things off the list, but it's not the important things that are going to really be impactful for you for that day. 5 things might only equivalent to about a 10% productivity for you that day. But the 1 or 2 things might responsible for 80% of that day. So that's the point what Jesus was trying to tell Martha. You upset and worried about many things, but there's only one thing that's necessary. One thing on that list that is necessary, right? Same theory in Matthew 6:34 through 31 through 34. We saying we worry about what we're gonna eat and what we're gonna drink and what we're gonna wear. But he's saying if you seek first the kingdom, all of that gonna be taken care of, right, guys? So take this theory and apply it to your life. A nutritionist even used this theory, and she said, if you eat 80% of the foods that you eat is healthy foods, then you can indulge in the other 20% and eat the foods that you like, and you're gonna still lose weight, right? So see, this theory could apply in many aspects of your life. She said, if you eat 80% of your foods that you're eating is healthy foods, the other 20% you could indulge and eat what you want to eat, but you're gonna still lose weight, right? So the 80-20 rule still apply, and that's where the principle come from, the Bible, where God was trying to tell. So are you Mary or Martha? Are you getting upset and worried about a lot of things, or you're just focusing on the one thing? You see, Mary, all she did, she forget about all the cleaning and the cooking and all of that. She, look, I can hang on Jesus. I sitting at his feet and hang on every word that he's saying, because I know when he leave here, the wisdom he going to impart in me, I could make my life better. But if I go cooking, washing, cleaning, and all of that, I still got to be doing that tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. That's going to be there. But this wisdom that I can get from Jesus, he's not going to be stopping by my house every day. I'm going to hang on every word he say, because I know that's going to be impactful. That's the one thing I can do today. Get this wisdom from him. Right, guys? So look at your day today. And if you're not applying this rule already to your life, start applying it, and you're going to be more productive and less stressed, guys. More productive and less stressed out. Focus on the things that are important, and don't get upset and worried about things that are not that important, guys. So thank you guys for listening today. I hope this bless you, and we can talk again on Friday. The 80-20 rule, remember that. Okay then, goodbye.